Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of Intuitive Angling, and really appreciate you guys coming by the channel and joining me for today's video. Today we're going to be talking about what I think is the #1 lure to catch big bass in the month of February on. This is a unique lure. I'm going to give you guys some tips and advice on how to fish it and the type of areas that it works in February. So we're going to get into that in today's video, and hopefully it'll help you guys catch some good hogs over the next month or two. I'm also, guys, before we get started, just a couple quick reminders. Just want to invite everybody to please hit that subscribe button here at Intuitive Angling if you like the content. Hitting that subscribe button, the like button, sharing the videos is a good way to help everything out. And also, if you're interested in becoming a channel member of Intuitive Angling, channel members get some access to my email address for your own personal fishing questions and private videos every week that aren't seen by the public. Just go to my YouTube homepage, hit the join button for information there. So I really appreciate that. Okay guys, when you're talking about seasonal changes of the bass as far as month by month goes, the change between January and February is pretty significant. Now there's a couple different reasons for this. Water temperatures maybe are slightly warming up depending upon the weather patterns, but we're getting more daylight hours every single day. So you've got this biological, sort of this rhythm the fish are in every year. It's like as these daylight hours get longer, water temperatures are starting to slowly warm up. Those fish are focusing on spawning, and they're focusing on moving up shallower. They're focusing on feeding on bigger prey to get their energy reserves stored up for the rigors of spawning, regardless if it's a male or female bass. And you start noticing a change in the lure preferences of the fish in the month of February. Now, if you guys have been watching my videos over the past month in January, we talk a lot about fishing small baits in January, downsized jerk baits, small swim baits, finesse jigs. In February, though, there's a transition, and those bass start preferring larger lures. And since they're preferring larger lures, your odds of catching a big fish is going to go up. So the bait I want to show you guys today, the #1 February lure for big fish, in my opinion, overall in a lot of different type of waters, is this megabass Edo Shiner jerkbait. This is a larger jerkbait. It's got higher sides on it. It's about an inch longer than the megabass Vision 110. So it's a pretty good sized jerkbait. It's got a large profile. It's actually sort of a big brother of the megabass trick darter. But this Edo Shiner, guys, the larger profile of it and the more aggressive action will catch you some big ones in the month of February. And I'm gonna talk a little bit about how to modify it, how to fish it, and the type of areas. Now, the first tip I'm gonna give you guys here, also I'll put these in my Tackle Warehouse link in the description if you guys like to pick up a couple of them, the megabass Edo Shiner. I like the Pro Blue. Guys, this is the Pro Blue color, but what I do is I modify it, and I take some Spike It chartreuse dye, you can use it just a spray dye or a marking pen or whatever, and put a little bit of chartreuse on it. Now this is a Pro Blue that I've done that to. You can see the difference in it. And I don't know what it is, but it seems like early in the year when the water temperatures in the 40s and 50s, they really like this Pro Blue with that little bit of chartreuse on it. It's something that I figured out about 20 years ago. So that's how I modify it. Hooks that come on the Edo Shiner, they're really good right off the bat. I usually upgrade them to these Gamakatsu G finesses, but you definitely want to get this bait where it either suspends or sinks slowly. That's a big key also in the month of February. You got to get this thing down deep enough. So I like to put enough weight on it or big enough hooks on it where the bait slowly goes down just like that. So that's a big key as far as triggering those fish to bite it. Now, the difference in the Edo Shiner from the other jerk baits is not only the profile's different, but this lure has a lot more aggressive action. In other words, it darts a lot harder and a lot more pronounced. Probably has about 25% more aggressive darting action than the megabass Vision 110 or even like a Rogue or something. So it looks really lively in the water. And the combination of that aggressive action and the larger profile of the bait, that's what triggers those bigger fish to hit it. Now, here's what I like to look for. A lot of it depends on the type of water that you're fishing, the type of area. First of all, I'll talk a little bit about grass lakes for you guys that fish, lakes that have grass in it. All you dudes that fish some of the TVA lakes, some of the Florida lakes, some of the Texas lakes that have grass, Edo Shiner's deadly over the top of grass. Lake Fork, all that type of deal. Just fishing it over those deeper grass beds in like 4 to 6 foot of water is going to be really productive to catch big ones in. but most of the country they don't have that. So you're going to have to fish more just traditional man-made rock and structures like that. So you need to fish these things in the places where those fish are getting ready to stage at. Now, my number one type of an area to catch a big one in is what I call a channel swing point. Now, channel swing point, it can be a steep bank or it can be a bluff, but it's a place where the river or the creek channel swings right against the bank at the same time that there's a point there. Channel swing points, they're very common structures in most lakes across the country. Those big fish in the month of February and early March love those channel swing points, and not just on the point, but the actual channel bank themselves. So what I like to do, let's say for example, I find a bank that's a channel bank and it's leading, and I'm looking in front of me and there's a point, maybe 50, 75 yards in front of me. I'll start on that channel bank and I'll work all the way to the point. Most of the time, the fish are going to be on the bank, the channel bank. They're not going to be on the point quite as much as February. So I'll make long casts, parallel to that bank with the Edo shiner, and based upon the water visibility, I'm trying to target, anywhere between 5 to 15 foot of water. If the water visibility is under 3 feet, I'm trying to target, that probably that 5 to 7 foot zone. And as it gets clear, I may cast it out in 15 or 20 foot of water and try to target that, 10 to 15, maybe 20 foot of water with it. Really, really good way to catch big ones. Another thing is if you got suspended timber or submerged timber on those areas, it makes it even better. But those channel swing points are just outstanding to do it with. Now, on top of that, secondary points can be good. A lot of those fish will stage in February on the secondary points leading up into the spawning coves. It can be really good. I've caught a lot of fish in what I call the ditches in February, or guts. Now, these are places, if you go back in the back half or the back one half part of a big cove, just get in the middle of the cove, like in 20 foot of water, and throw that Edo shiner right down the middle of that cove and try to target that ditch that's leading into the back of the cove. And a lot of times those fish will set up and suspend in those ditches, and they'll just stay there waiting to move up shallow to spawn. But really, you can catch them about whatever cover your lake has. Every lake's unique, so I've just caught them going down rocky banks as well, but try to focus on those channel swing points. I do, even though this is a larger bait, I still fish it on a spinning rod. Usually I'm fishing on an 8-pound test Seaguar and Vizex line, that megabass Addermine spinning rod. It handles very well on a spinning rod, and you can get better action out of it, and you can manipulate it better with that 8-pound line. If you weight it down, where it's suspending or sinking slowly, and you make a long cast with 8-pound test line, on a super long cast, you can get this bait down, 8 to 10 foot of water. I can get it to 10 foot with 6-pound line, but you can definitely get it down to 8 on a long cast with 8-pound line, which is that zone you need to be in for those bigger fish. But anyway, guys, give it a try. Megabass Edo shiner, link in the description. Best day for it, if I can give you guys a perfect scenario where this thing is going to work, pick a day where you got some overcast and about a 10 to 15 mile an hour wind that's out of the south, southwest, or west, and water temperatures anywhere between, say, upper 40s to mid 50s. And when you get that combination and you fish those spots I'm talking about, you can catch some good ones in February on this thing. So anyway, hope it helps out, guys. We'll talk later.